Sun drenched their smiling faces. The azure water sparkled, salt air filled their lungs. Friends on vacation, they sought adventure.
Adjusting his captain's hat.
Mark, the pragmatic leader, adjusted his captain's hat.
Capturing the moment.
Sarah, ever the photographer, captured the moment.
Scanning the horizon.
John, the cautious one, scanned the horizon.
Urging them onward.
Emily, adventurous and bold, urged them onward. Their chartered yacht cut through the waves. Each day brought new discoveries, hidden coves, vibrant reefs, secluded beaches. But fate, as it often does, had a different plan. On the horizon, a shape emerged from the morning mist. A ship seemingly frozen in time, its sails tattered and torn, hung limply. An air of melancholy clung to the vessel like a shroud. The friends approached cautiously, their laughter silenced by the eerie sight. The air was thick with anticipation and a hint of fear, as if the ship itself was watching them. The ship, a magnificent schooner, appeared untouched by time, yet ravaged by an unseen force. Its sails, though tattered, still held a ghostly elegance, swaying gently in the breeze. Its once bright paint peeled, revealing bare, weathered wood. The deck, though sturdy, creaked under the weight of years gone by, each step echoing the ship's long-forgotten journeys. Boarding the vessel, they felt a chill despite the tropical sun. The air inside was cooler, almost as if the ship held on to the memories of colder, stormier seas.
Clicking her camera, Sarah tried to capture the haunting beauty of the scene.
Sarah's camera clicked, documenting the decay. Each photo seemed to tell a story of its own, a silent narrative of the ship's past.
Gripping the railing, John felt a strange connection to the ship, as if it was trying to communicate with him.
John's hand trembled as he gripped the railing. The wood felt alive, pulsating with the energy of countless souls who had once walked its decks.
Pressing forward, her curiosity piqued. Emily couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone.
Emily, though unnerved, pressed forward, her curiosity piqued. She felt drawn to the ship's heart, as if it held secrets waiting to be uncovered. A strange stillness hung in the air, broken only by the creaking of the ship. It was as if the vessel was whispering its tales of adventure and sorrow. The smell of salt mixed with a musty odor of decay and something else, something unidentifiable and unsettling. It was a scent that spoke of time and mystery, of lives lived and lost. They found no crew, no sign of life, only the ghostly remnants of voyages past. Old maps, tattered and yellowed, lay scattered, hinting at destinations long forgotten. The silence whispered tales untold, stories etched in the very grain of the ship's timbers. Each creak and groan seemed to speak of the ship's longing to sail once more. The main deck, littered with debris, offered glimpses into the past. Coiled ropes lay beside a shattered compass. A child's doll, its porcelain face cracked, rested against a splintered mast. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, they ventured deeper into the ship's bowels. Each room painted a picture of sudden abandonment. Dinner plates lay half-filled on the galley table. Playing cards were scattered on the floor of the captain's quarters.
Suggesting they leave.
Mark, ever the voice of reason, suggested they leave.
Urging him onward.
But the others, captivated by the mystery, urged him onward. What they sought, they did not know, but the ship held them captive. The hold, dark and cavernous, smelled of seawater and rot. The air was thick with the scent of decay, a reminder of the ship's long abandonment. Every step echoed, the sound bouncing off the damp wooden walls, creating an eerie symphony of creaks and groans. Lanterns flickered, casting dancing shadows on the damp walls. The light was weak, barely piercing the darkness, but enough to reveal the outlines of forgotten crates and barrels. The shadows seemed to move with a life of their own, creating an unsettling atmosphere.
Swearing, he heard whispers. John strained his ears, trying to catch the faint voices that seemed to float on the air. They were just out of reach, like a half-remembered dream.
John swore. He heard whispers, faint voices carried on the damp air. They were indistinct, like the murmurs of ghosts, and sent chills down his spine. He wasn't sure if it was his imagination or something more sinister. Crates, their contents long lost to time, lined the walls. They were covered in dust and cobwebs, relics of a bygone era. Each crate seemed to hold secrets, stories of the past waiting to be uncovered. In the center, chained to the floor, sat a massive iron chest, its surface covered in barnacles and rust. It looked ancient, as if it had been there for centuries, untouched by human hands. The chest seemed to hold a mysterious power, drawing them closer. It seemed to pulse with an energy that sent shivers down their spines. The air around it felt charged, as if the chest was alive, waiting for someone to unlock its secrets.
Reaching out, her hand hovering over the chest's rusted lock, Emily hesitated. She could feel the cold metal beneath her fingers, the weight of the years pressing down on her.
Emily reached out, her hand hovering over the chest's rusted lock. She could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation of what lay inside. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing in the silence. A sudden gust of wind slammed the whole door shut, plunging them into darkness. The sound was deafening, like a thunderclap, and left them in pitch black. The sudden change was disorienting, leaving them grasping for any sense of direction. Panic flared, their breaths echoing in the suffocating blackness. Then silence. The air was thick with fear, each breath a struggle. They could hear each other's heartbeats, a reminder of their shared terror. The air grew colder, pressing against them like icy fingers. It was as if the darkness itself was alive, reaching out to touch them, to claim them. The cold was relentless, seeping into their bones.
Crying out, his voice shrill with terror, John felt the weight of the darkness pressing down on him. It was suffocating, a tangible force that threatened to overwhelm him.
John cried out, his voice shrill with terror. The sound echoed in the darkness, a desperate plea for help. But there was no answer. Only the oppressive silence. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, a feeling that they were not alone. The ship seemed to be alive, watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike.
Mark found a lantern, its flame dispelling the oppressive darkness. The ship's interior, once a place of bustling activity, now lay silent and eerie. Shadows danced on the walls, creating an atmosphere of foreboding. Mark's heart raced as he moved deeper into the ship, the lantern his only source of comfort.
John, pale and shaken, pointed to a corner. His eyes were wide with terror and his hand trembled. "There," he whispered, his voice barely audible. The fear in his eyes was contagious, sending a chill down Mark's spine. They both knew something was terribly wrong.
There, lying open on a dusty table, lay the captain's log. The book seemed to beckon them, its pages filled with secrets of the past. Dust motes floated in the air, illuminated by the lantern's glow. The log was old, its cover worn and pages yellowed with age.
The brittle pages, filled with elegant script, spoke of a journey to uncharted waters, of a discovery beyond imagination, and then of fear, madness, and something monstrous rising from the depths. The captain's words painted a vivid picture of their voyage, the excitement of discovery and the creeping dread that followed. Each entry grew more frantic, the handwriting more erratic.
The captain wrote of a treasure, an artifact of immense power and a creature bound to it. The map showed cryptic symbols, hinting at the artifact's location. The creature, described in chilling detail, seemed to be the source of their misfortune. The captain's obsession with the treasure grew, blinding him to the dangers that lay ahead.
He wrote of his crew driven to madness by the creature's whispers, driven to unspeakable acts. The once loyal crew turned on each other, their minds twisted by the creature's influence. The ship became a place of chaos and violence, the bonds of camaraderie shattered. The captain's attempts to maintain order were futile.
He wrote of his own struggle for sanity. The captain's entries became a desperate plea for help, his mind unraveling under the creature's relentless assault. He described sleepless nights, haunted by visions and whispers. His once steady hand now shook as he wrote, each word a testament to his deteriorating state.
The final entry, scrawled in a shaky hand, spoke of the creature's growing power, of the captain's desperate attempt to bind it once more. He wrote of a ritual, a last-ditch effort to contain the creature. The entry ended with a plea for forgiveness. The captain's final words, a mix of hope and despair.
The entry ended abruptly, leaving the fate of the captain and his crew a chilling mystery. The logbook closed, its secrets locked away, the ship now a ghostly reminder of their tragic voyage. The unanswered questions lingered, a haunting echo of the past.
Fear hung heavy in the air, but curiosity, like a siren's call, beckoned us toward the chest.
We knew with a certainty that chilled us to the bone that the captain's tale was true, the creature real.
They had to know. With trembling hands, they unlocked the chest. The hinges screamed in protest, the sound echoing through the hold. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay a wooden box, its surface carved with intricate symbols.
As Emily reached for the box, the ship lurched violently. The lanterns went out, plunging them back into darkness.
The whispers returned, louder now, swirling around them, filled with malice and hunger.
John screamed again, his voice lost in the cacophony of sound.
The air crackled with unseen energy. The creature was awake.
A guttural roar shook the ship, the sound emanating from the box.
Mark, his voice tight with fear, urged them to flee.
They scrambled for the ladder, their eyes adjusting to the darkness, but it was too late. The box burst open, bathing the hold in an unearthly green light. A form coalesced, towering and grotesque, its eyes burning like hot coals. The stench of decay filled the air, choking them.
John, paralyzed by fear, could only whimper.
Sarah stumbled back, dropping her camera.
The creature lunged, its claws outstretched, its roar echoing through the ship.
Mark shoved Emily towards the ladder. "Go!" he screamed, his voice raw with terror. He turned back to face the creature, buying them precious seconds.
Emily and Sarah scrambled up the ladder, their hearts pounding against their ribs. They could hear the creature's enraged roars, the sounds of Mark's desperate struggle. They didn't dare look back. They burst onto the deck, the fresh air a welcome relief. The ship, once still, now rocked violently. Waves crashed against the hull, as if the sea itself had turned against them.
With a final deafening roar, the ship lurched one last time.
Emily and Sarah, clinging to the railing, watched in horror as the creature and the ship that held it captive slipped beneath the waves. The sea returned to its tranquil state, the only evidence of the horror a fading patch of oil and debris. Emily and Sarah clung to each other, their sobs the only sound in the vast expanse of ocean. They were rescued days later, adrift in their life raft. Their story, dismissed as sunstroke and dehydration, remained untold. No one believed their tale of the ghost ship, the creature, and their desperate escape. But they knew the truth.
The experience changed them, haunted their dreams. The sea, once a source of joy, now held a sinister edge.
They carried the burden of their secret, the weight of the horror they witnessed, and somewhere in the depths of the ocean the ghost ship sailed on, its secrets hidden, its monstrous passenger waiting for its next victims.